Thank you. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us live. We are going to get started in just a few moments. If you have any questions, please type them in the comment box under this video and I will answer them when we're complete. Yay, Carmen. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you could watch it live too. Excellent. Testing. 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 Welcome to the Chakra Activation 101 orientation. This is our macro view orientation, which is where we're going to look at the big picture of the Chakra Activation 101 course. The chakra activation process has 3 pillars that you are going to move through. Each pillar provides you with a series of energy healing experiences that will attune your chakras to higher and higher frequencies of light. This first course in the series is going to lead you through pillar 1. That is the experience pillar, where we are going to activate the chakras in our physical body, our Muladhara, which is our root chakra, all the way up to our Sahasrara, which is our crown chakra. In pillar 2, we begin the activation of our transpersonal chakras, which are the chakras that exist outside of our physical body. We start with an activation of our etheric body, including our mental body and emotional body. And we begin the activation of our transpersonal chakras through our soul star chakra. And finally, in the last pillar, which is the pillar of union, we are activating all of our transpersonal chakras. Once we begin to activate the chakras outside of our physical body, the names of these chakras change to the word gateway. And gateway is a word that helps us to understand that the chakra is not personal to us, rather it is a gateway into union with a higher light that we all have access to. Specifically, we activate our stellar gateway, our cosmic gateway, and our galactic gateway. You can see here the chakra activation process. I laid it out for you here is in order that the courses take place within. So you can see in Chakra Activation 101, where we are going to experience the activation of our chakras in our physical body, we have a preparation process, and then we activate our Muladhara, our Svatisthana, our Manipura, our Anahata, our Vishuddha, our Ajna, and our Sahasrara. In Chakra Activation 102, which is the follow-up to this course, we activate our soul star, our stellar gateway, our cosmic gateway, as well as we activate to the 11th, 12th, and 13th rays of light, our galactic gateway, which I missed on here, and our earth star chakra. And at the end of this process, we will have completed a full activation, not only of the chakras in our physical body, but in all of the chakras that form the foundation of our light body, which is also known as our Merkaba field, which extends out 50 feet in all directions. So at the end of this process, you will have formed the foundation for the activation of your Merkaba field. Now, first, let's understand what is happening during this process. And we want to begin with grounding into this awareness together of what our chakras are, how our chakras are operating within us. They are operating every moment of our day, whether we realize it or not. And each experience that you have energetically imprints on your chakra centers. So every experience that you've had up to this moment in your life and every experience that you have moving forward. Repetitious thoughts and actions create deeper imprints. And so chakra activation, which is what we are doing together, is the conscious imprinting of light codes through breath work, sound, and repetition while we are in a theta brainwave state. So you can unconsciously imprint onto your chakras all day, every day through the choices that you make in life, through the environments that you are in, through the people that you surround yourself with, through the life circumstances that are present in your world, in your home, in your community. You can also consciously imprint your chakra centers, which is what we are doing in this process. Either way, your chakras are being shaped, imprinted upon. You are working with them, whether or not you're realizing it or not. The chakra activation process is a conscious process of imprinting light codes into each of your chakra centers. So let's look a little bit more closely at what chakra activation is. This quote here, "What is here is nowhere. What is not here is..." Actually, this quote is wrong. That should say, "What is here is elsewhere, not nowhere. What is not here is nowhere." And what that means is that everything within your chakra centers, so what is within your chakra centers exists outside of your chakra centers. So what is here, What is within each chakra center is elsewhere. What is not here doesn't exist, meaning that your chakras are like a mirror of your entire life, your entire world, and all experiences that you've gone through. The original source of our understanding of the chakras is from the Sanskrit tantric texts that our chakras were originally taught within. This text is the Sat Chakra Nirupana. And this text is anchored in tantric philosophy, which is a process of coming into union with spirit through our physical bodies. In tantric philosophy, the chakras are energy centers that emanated from the original gods. Shiva, the infinite supreme consciousness, is the divine masculine energy, and Shakti, the divine feminine, also known as the divine mother, is the eternal energy of this supreme consciousness. So Shiva and Shakti are the energetic forms that we recognize as humans that shaped the original energy centers that are within each of us that we know as chakras. These gods held infinite power of the universe, and through their divine will, all matter, the seen and the unseen, were created. And whether or not you believe in the original gods that are Shiva and Shakti, or practice a religious understanding of these gods, is not necessary when we move through the chakra activation process together. Instead, it's just important to understand that these original energies, the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy, the first way that those energies manifested into human form were divine. And they exist also, or they were the source of the creation of our chakra centers. In the Sat Chakra Nirupana, we are taught that the energy of the gods was first made manifest within our chakra centers. And so what this teaches us is that in these original teachings, spirit was not something outside of us. God was not something that existed in a faraway land that we prayed to, but instead the gods lived within us. They lived within the centers of our bodies. This text teaches us that our chakras are a microcosm for the universe. A microcosm is a place that includes in miniature the characteristic qualities or features of something much larger. This means that what exists within your chakras is a reflection. It's a reflection of what is in your mind. It's a reflection of your experiences, the environments that have shaped you over the course of your life. And it's a reflection of what's going on our planet, in our cosmos. All of that on a tiny cellular scale exists energetically within our chakra centers. So this is a vast perspective shift, because it's likely that your understanding of the chakra centers is much more simplistic than that. It likely comes through this system of colonialism, capitalism, and contemporary New Age practices, which took those original chakra teachings and packaged them up into this oversimplified version of our chakras that most of us see today, which is these 7 chakras that exist within our body. They each have a specific color, and there's an oversimplified explanation of what each of them do. But in reality, our chakra centers are more like kaleidoscopes. They are living, breathing centers of light. They are dynamic, changing all the time, changing colors, changing frequency, depending on our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, and our environment. Our chakra centers also contain sacred geometric patterns within them. And when they are activated through the light, these geometric patterns become stronger, and they can support the healing of our entire body system. And so it is through your attention to the light that activates your connection to the spirit within you, and it's what activates your connection to your chakras. Your chakras are vortices of light. And what this picture shows you is a fully activated light body. This is not the case for humans. Like, our chakra centers don't look like this naturally. Instead, you may have a dark center around your throat chakra if you are someone who has been taught or trained over time to shut down your voice. If you lived in an environment where you are not allowed to speak your truth, then your chakra center will not be active and spinning and bright. Instead, it will likely display cloudiness and darkness. And so this image that you see here is the ideal. This is the perfected form that we are all moving towards. But that's not where we're starting. We're starting in a place that is likely out of balance. All of us, even if we are in a perfect state of health, more than likely have a weakness in one of our chakra centers. I have been doing chakra clearings and balancings now for over 15 years. And what I can say is I have not once ever seen a person whose chakra system is perfectly balanced in light like this. Now, there are people that come close, but just like you can shut down your center due to your environment, your center can also become overstimulated. So if you are someone who has kind of disconnected from what's been going on Earth, and for, let's say, for the past several years, you've been on a spiritual awakening, and you've really been focused on opening your crown chakra, connecting with your spirit guides, working in meditation, then you may have a really wide open crown chakra, and some of your lower chakras may not have imbalance, but may not be as wide open as a chakra that you have been working on. So this is important as we go into this process to recognize that we're all starting from a different place. No one starts in perfect form. We are humans, and we are all on our own individual healing journey. And so each of our chakras is a reflection of that. They are collecting and transmuting energy, however, at all times. And our goal is to bring our chakra centers into this fully activated space together through this process. And this image helps you to understand how that works. So this shows you the chakra centers connected through your meridians, the meridians that weave up and down your physical body and connect all of your chakra centers. As we activate our chakra centers, you want to think of each of your chakras as a muscle that you are strengthening over time through practices. And each of your chakras has a muscle memory associated with it. The more that you bring attention to that chakra, the more that you breathe light into that chakra, the stronger that muscle becomes. And you cannot just go through this 11-week process, breathe light through all your chakras, activate all of them, strengthen your muscles, and then never pay attention to them again, because these muscles, just like your physical muscles, need regular attention. So it is a process that we are starting in these 11 weeks of bringing our attention to each of these chakra centers, but it's a process that you will continue for the rest of your life. The resources that you are going to receive, the chakra activations themselves, they're meant to be thought of like exercises that you repeat forever. And in addition to that, if you pay attention to where each of your chakra centers is, they are anchored in parts of your body that are all connected to your organ systems. And what that means is that we can always tie an imbalance in the physical body to a specific chakra center. So if you think of right now in your physical body where the weakest part of your body is right now, and it doesn't mean you have to be sick or ill, but think of like any area that you've experienced like tension or pain, or maybe your muscles are not as strong in that area. Maybe you're carrying extra weight in that area. Now, look at what chakra is connected to that area, and that will tell you the chakra center that you likely need to focus on strengthening and activating. And so our chakra centers are pointers. They help us to identify the physical imbalances that are happening within our body. And that also works in the reverse. So when we can identify what's physically going on in our body, we can work with the corresponding chakra to bring health, healing, strength, vitality, life force energy into that center of our body. And all of this is in service to our central philosophy, which is all healing requires our attention. Illness, disease, weakness, imbalance, it's always a call to pay more attention, to go deeper into our bodies, and to breathe, nurture, and heal. And in this way, then, your chakras are the energetic centers of all illness, all disease, but also all health in your body and your mind. And in addition to this connection that your chakras have to each organ center, your chakras are also the energetic centers of your personal universe. So in that original tantric teaching, our entire body is, each of our bodies are like mini universes, perfect mirrored reflections of the cosmos that we are living within. Each chakra is activated through a different frequency of sound and light. Training and returning to this frequency strengthens the light at the center of your chakra centers. The chakra activation also stimulates cellular connections through breath work, hypnosis, sound, energy healing, and meditation. So within the chakra healing process, you learn breath work and energy healing. You learn a specific process that includes breathing rays of light through your body, through sound, within your mind first. And this is a process that you repeat. As you return to the process over and over, your chakras become stronger and more capable of becoming conduits for life force energy. And so, therefore, the second central philosophy in our chakra activation process is that our attention determines our frequency. You are imprinting onto your chakras every moment of every day. When you are in a healthy habit, when you are like waking up in the morning and practicing healthy habits, you're imprinting your chakra centers. You are bringing attention to certain things in your external reality that are shaping the frequency of your chakra centers. And the same is true when you have a negative experience, or when you tune into, say, the news, social media, the state of the world today, and the frequency that is being transmitted through that media, that is also imprinting your chakra centers. So it's happening whether you're conscious of it or not. And this chakra activation process brings us into a more deeply conscious process with these energy centers. Through our focus, through our attention on the light while in a theta brainwave state, through our breath, our chakras activate. And this activation and attunement process is different than just chakra healing. I practiced chakra healing in one-on-one treatments, and I have led groups, chakra healing groups, for the past 15 years. Chakra activation is a different level of working with your chakras. Chakra healing is usually practiced as a special event, monthly or annually. It's something that you give yourself every once in a while. It may be something for a period of time. You might practice chakra healing every day, but I have not ever met someone that has had a chakra healing practice that they've dedicated themselves to for years. Chakra activation requires that dedication. It requires sustained attention over time. You want to think of activating your chakras like activating your muscles. Once again, each time that you bring attention to a chakra center, you're strengthening that muscle. Just like that push-up, the first time that you do the push-up, your muscle's not activated yet. But when you do those push-ups every day, every week, for 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, all of a sudden, those muscles are activated all the time, right? The longer that you practice the exercise, the stronger that muscle becomes, and the less you have to do to experience the strength of that muscle, right? If you've been doing push-ups for 6 years straight, you wake up with strong biceps and triceps, right? Like those muscles, that repetition that you've practiced has activated those muscles over time, and now you live with that strength. But it doesn't happen after one push-up. Even after 6 months of push-ups, you can still very easily lose that strength. So I want you to think of your chakra centers in the same way. It's the commitment to the repetition that is what we are focused on together. Our push-ups and our squats, however, are not done in the gym. They are done with our eyes closed in our sacred spaces. They are done through hypnosis, meditation, focusing on sacred geometric symbols, through our energy healing practice, through sound, and through breath work. Each of these practices creates new pathways in your brain and within your energetic body. Hypnosis directs your attention to create new pathways within your brain, and it stimulates cellular activity. Your breath also creates pathways, and different breathwork practices activate different frequencies of light, or they activate different chakra centers and different muscles. Sound healing also creates new pathways in your mind, and solfeggio frequencies, which we work with extensively in our chakra activation process, help you to attune to healing vibratory patterns. They help to activate your chakra centers through a pattern of energy that repeats over time. Through this daily breath work, through your attention to the light, the energy healing practices, through meditation, you will strengthen the energetic pathways of light within your body. You will also build that muscle within each of your chakra centers. In this process, you are also introduced to the 7 sacred rays of light. You will experience and learn a breathwork process, working with the rays of light that you can return to over and over again. And I want to briefly touch on the scientific basis for this process. So the chakra activation process was taken from the DNA activation and attunement process. And the way that we understand, the scientific way that helps explain how chakra activation and how DNA activation heals our bodies is epigenetics. Epigenetics is the study of the epigenome. And this epigenome surrounds each of your DNA. So as a reminder, if you have not gone through the DNA activation and attunement training or introduction, I'll just briefly give you a synopsis here of how this process works. So your DNA exists in every cell of your body. Your genes are a unit of your DNA. The epigenome surrounds your genes, and your genes create cells. And your DNA is known as the instructor molecules in your body. Your DNA instructs your cells as to what they're doing. It instructs all cellular activity in your body. And so through the activation of your DNA, you are activating new cellular activity. And what science has shown is that practices, including breath work, meditation, energy healing, as well as yoga, and other alternative healing practices, positively leave markers on your epigenome. And what those markers do is they stimulate healing responses in your body. This image here shows you that there is a direct correlation between your DNA, and there are these 4 chemicals that exist in a different configuration in each of the DNA molecules. So in every DNA molecule, and there's DNA molecules within every cell of your body. Each of these DNA molecules has a pattern, and this pattern is anchored in some combination of these 4 chemicals. These 4 chemicals are a pattern that repeats. And this pattern can also be correlated with the 7 rays of light. This wheel right here actually depicts 12 rays of light. And we are working in this specific course with only light that is visible to the human eye, but there's actually a larger spectrum of light with colors that are not all visible to the human eye that operates as a pattern, not just within your body, but within all of nature. And as we bring our attention to these different frequencies of light, we are not only activating our chakra centers, but we are also stimulating these original cellular patterns that exist within our DNA. So you can see here that chakra activation then is at the center of this DNA activation process. And I want you to think of, I have this ball of yarn up here because I want you to think of your chakras as like you are weaving a light body. You are weaving your light body through your attention. And every time that you bring attention, let's say to the ruby red ray of light, imagine if you took this yarn and you took a string and you wove that ruby ray and you connected it to your root chakra. And then you connected to your svatisana and the orange ray of light. And here you took the yarn and you wove a connection to your svatisana, your sacral chakra. And then you do the same for your manipura, focusing on, as you focus on the yellow ray of light, it is like yarn that you are connecting, that you are weaving into this center, your manipura, your solar plexus. And the emerald green ray of light, as you bring attention to that, you take the yarn and you weave it into that center of your body. The same for your Vishuddha and the blue ray, your Ajna and the indigo ray, and your Sahasrara and the violet ray. And once you bring your attention over and over and over and over again to each of these rays of light, you have woven together, if you could imagine, I don't have the visual for that here, but let's imagine you have all of these multicolored woven patterns that are moving through your energy field. These are anchored now into your energy field. And so you're not going to have bigger muscles when you finish this process on the outside, but you are going to have a stronger and more radiant light body. And the muscles or your chakra centers are going to be stronger because you are anchoring them to this light that you are focusing on within your mind. And not only are the centers within your body going to become stronger, but the entire field around you is becoming anchored in that light as well. And what we know is that this is all affecting your epigenome. So this is all impacting cellular activity. And the way that your cells regenerate within your body is going to begin to shift. You are, through the practices, you are activating the healing switches on your epigenome, which is the source of all healing, especially when we are working with alternative healing modalities. The work that we do on our epigenome is impacting every single cell of our bodies. And so now let's look at the role of the rays in chakra activation. Once again, what is here is elsewhere. What is not here is nowhere. And scientifically, there are 7 colors of the spectrum of white light: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. Spiritually, the 7 rays represent the fundamental law of 7. They are a law of cosmic action and organization. They are an expression of a law of nature. White light is the source of and a mixture of all of the rays. And each color is associated with the light of a particular wavelength. You experience chakra activation then through repetitive attention to the light of the rays. This alignment happens through hypnosis, meditation, and breath work with the light of the 7 rays. The light that we connect to aligns, the light that we align with, the light that we activate is a source of energy. It's a source of power. This light once you bring your attention to it over and over and over again, over time, it will spontaneously activate healing within you. Once again, it activates those healing switches within your epigenome, within the cellular activity in your body. And this happens continuously over time. This light we are working with then, it's a living, breathing, conscious entity. The light is electromagnetic. It travels through waves in your electromagnetic field. Although you work with the light with your eyes closed, so you're not going to have your eyes open, physically looking at different colors of light. Your eyes are closed and you are visualizing this light. But when you bring your attention to it, you can feel it. So your eyes are closed, you're not looking at anything, you're not touching anything, but you can feel this light activating within you. Sustained focus upon the light will simultaneously activate your chakras and form the foundation for the activation of your light body. And finally, let's look at the role of the goddess within our chakras. What is here is elsewhere. What is not here is nowhere. The chakra activation and attunement process is guided by the spirit of the goddess. Within each chakra activation and attunement, you'll be introduced to and learn a process to work with in meditation, a different goddess. Each goddess has a history and an imprint on the DNA of many cultures around the world. She is pure life force energy, and she is a consciousness present at all times. We can think of her as a form outside of us, guiding us, as she's presented in our healing experiences. But she's also present within us in different ways. As we open to the healing, the wisdom, and the grace of the goddess, we enter into her heart, and this is where miracles happen. When you invite the goddess in, she sees all. She has an unconditional compassion, and she's here to provide assistance. And I give this example a lot in the chakra activation process. You want to imagine the goddess is like an ideal mother who comes into your home to clean, and she finds the closet that has the most junk in it. She takes everything out of the closet and puts it in the middle of your space. And you are overwhelmed by all of the stuff that's now in the middle of your space, but you're relieved at the same time because now you have a lot of work to do to clean everything that's been taken out of the closet, but your closet looks great now. So I want you to think of each of your chakras is like that closet. You have certain experiences, feelings, energy that you've accumulated over the course of your life that's no longer necessary. It is like the junk, so to speak. It had a purpose at one point, but it no longer has a purpose. And our job as we work with the goddess within each of our chakra centers is to illuminate what is in our closet and clear it out. So thinking then of each of your chakra centers like a closet, each week we will focus on clearing and activating a single chakra center. And each week you will have this feeling of, wow, that was a lot of stuff that came out of there, but now I feel like clean. I feel like there's a clarity here. It's a good feeling that always emerges afterwards. And now let's look at the objectives that we have as we move through the next 11 weeks together. What is here is elsewhere. What is not here is nowhere. Chakra activation happens through repetition over time. So what you do every day is key. In this 11 weeks, you will be given certain days that you're going to do the chakra activation. And you may think that those days are the most important days, but really every day has a sacred purpose. Every exercise that you do is preparing you for the full activation of your chakra centers. So the process then, it's not about like checking a box that you learned each practice. Like, okay, check, I did my Muladhara. Check, I did my Svatisana. That's not so much the mindset that you want to begin with. Instead, you want to think about integrating each practice into your daily life. Each of the activations that you're going to move through is designed to be repeated, like basic exercises for your energetic body. Your healing routine determines your outcome. So it's your daily practice that builds your energetic muscles. A comprehensive combination of cleansing, detoxifying, and activating healing experiences creates a synergy that allows for the greatest potential healing to take place. And in this way, all modalities are strengthened and supported by chakra activation. Every aspect of your life gets better when you activate your chakras. It's not even about just physical and mental healing. It's transforming the way you experience life itself. So even if your goal is not to become a professional energy healer, all healing modalities will benefit from integrating chakra activation. And these basic principles can also be integrated into any other work that you do. And that is because a clear, balanced, and strong energy field is your greatest treasure. Your number one job over the next 11 weeks is to prioritize your energetic health through your daily healing practice, your daily thoughts, and your actions. You're going to prioritize clearing your energy field and strengthening your energy field, in addition to and in between each of the chakra activations. So your key objectives, our key objectives together that we're going to focus on over the next 11 weeks are, first, to develop a daily healing routine. Each of the portals that you move through includes daily healing experiences that take place on your heal map. You're going to complete an 11-week program with daily exercises that are going to cleanse and strengthen your energy field. And it's creating this routine that is our number one objective. Find a time every day that feels easy to do this work and commit to that time. Next, we are going to practice the process of chakra healing and chakra activation. You're going to learn a daily chakra healing process, and you're going to start the process of activating your chakras. This is an in-depth process in which you focus not only on healing, but you also focus on bringing certain foods and other things, teas, and other objects into your environment that stimulate that the chakra center that we are working on for the week. So we look at each week as a time to really develop an intimacy with each of our chakra centers. We're also going to work extensively with the violet flame and meditation and begin a daily healing experience that includes the violet flame. The violet flame is a tool of transmutation. It takes low vibrational energy and transmutes it into like a pure life force energy. I think of it like burning a pile of junk outside. That is like what the violet flame does. It is like you're taking all all that you no longer need, you're putting it in a pile in your yard and you're setting it on fire. And as you set it on fire, all is dissolving into the flames. And as that smoke rises, there is a new space that is created. And this is mental, spiritual, and emotional space. And our final two objectives are focusing and anchoring into our breathwork practice. The fullness with which you breathe into each of your chakra centers determines the potential experience of your activation. So if your breath is very shallow, you're going to have a shallow experience of within each of your chakra activations. But if your breath is full and deep and touches every cell in your body as you breathe it through you, then that breath is going to fuel an expansive activation. So we are going to practice together with our breath. We're going to practice how to breathe deeper and more fully into each of our chakra centers. And you're also going to learn how to develop a relationship with your spiritual guides. Your spiritual guides are an energetic presence in your life, and they are also here to guide you through your healing work. We open in meditation to receive their guidance and wisdom. And finally, we anchor into an awareness of evidence-based practices as we complete our chakra activation process. Evidence-based practices, although there has been no formal research done on chakra healing, what there has been research done on is energy healing, meditation, and breath work. So we look at the research that does exist and we apply it to our practice. And those specific practices that have a scientific evidence base, we learn what those are. And that helps us to be better practitioners. It helps us to articulate more clearly the scientific basis of our work. And for me, when my brain understands how this is healing my body, it helps my body to open more fully to the healing. So when we learn about the research behind these practices that we are using, it helps us to relax more fully into the healing, to open more fully to the healing process. And finally, you're going to receive a chakra activation healing toolbox. So for all 11 weeks that you move through this process, you'll be introduced to a new set of tools. Every portal in the course has tools that can be used for your personal healing practice and also that can be integrated into your professional work. You'll be led through chakra activation, one portal at a time, as a healing process. And then at the end of the process, you will have a toolbox. You'll be able to return to this toolbox over and over again to integrate these tools into your professional work or to lead others through this process yourself. And as we wrap up here, I just want to share a little bit about my own journey. This is me. I am Amy Rebecca Shea. I'm a certified hypnotherapist and Usai Reiki master, and I've been professionally trained in IET, energy therapy, crystal therapy, mediumship, and spiritual healing. My chakra activation journey is relevant to this process. So I'm going to talk about it just for a moment here. In 2001, between 2001 and 2005, I had my first spiritual awakening. I became personally drawn to angels and chakras. I was a public school teacher at this time, and I decided that I was going to transition my professional work to practicing holistic healing in some way. I didn't know what that was going to look like, but I began with training in Usai Reiki. I also trained in hypnotherapy during this time, in angel therapy, and in spiritual healing. And at the same time, I completed my master's degree in education. So it was an intense period for me of learning and healing that culminated in 2005 when I started my full-time practice. I was still a high school teacher at this time, so I worked like on the weekends and after school in my private practice. And I also began to lead chakra healing groups in person. So my private practice, I focused on hypnosis and energy healing because that is what I had received my certification in. But personally, I really felt like at that time, our chakra centers were the source of so much imbalance in our bodies. I didn't have the research to back that up. I hadn't necessarily learned that from any training that I had gone through. I just felt it intuitively. And so I began these chakra healing groups. And I led hundreds of these chakra healing groups. It was basically all I did. Outside of my private practice, I would run like maybe 3 or 4 different groups a month. And we would work together with sound, with meditation, with hypnosis, and we would breathe light through each of our chakra centers. But even doing this, I knew that there was more to this process, and it felt like I was at this elementary level when I was holding these groups. But the experience that I gained during this time was really invaluable, and I kept on going. In 2011, I held my first ever online chakra healing group. So a lot happened in this time. I opened up my first healing center, and I started to lead these groups on a larger scale. And then I closed down the healing center when my son was born, and I brought everything online, and I built Pleiadian Institute. So I left that out, but that happened in like 2009. So by the time 2011 came, I was in the process of transitioning all of the healing work I had been doing on person to these online experiences. And that was when I held my first ever chakra healing group online. Then in 2012, I experienced my first connection to the Pleiadians. So in 2011, Pleiadian Institute was actually called Indigo Institute. So we weren't named Pleiadian Institute yet. But it was the Pleiadian Institute that you now know. We just had a different name. In 2012 was when I had my first experience with Pleiadian light work. And this was a channeled modality. And I met a teacher who would then train me for the next 10 years in this process of DNA activation and attunement, which was a channeled Pleiadian light work process. And within the DNA activation and attunement, there was a full activation of each of our chakra centers to different rays of light. And that is when I had my big aha moment, because I realized that what I was doing, and I was calling it chakra healing, breathing this light through our chakra centers, this was actually part of this Pleiadian light work process. So I was like doing the Pleiadian light work in a very elementary way without even realizing I was doing it. And then when I got to 2012, I realized, oh, wow, this is like my calling. Like I was led to the next level of this process by meeting this teacher and going through this training, and it literally changed my entire life. My relationship with my own Pleiadian guides gave me a newfound confidence, a strength, and a clarity in my healing practice. And this birthed the chakra activation process that you're being introduced to today. And then in 2013, I started my first program. So at Pleiadian Institute, one of the first programs was called the Chakra Healing Intensive, and it led students through this full chakra activation process that I had learned that was part of the Pleiadian light work. It was like an excerpt of the DNA activation and attunement. So my teacher did not separate chakra activation and DNA activation. She taught chakra activation as part of our DNA activation. And what I did is I began to teach DNA activation, but then I also understood that we could activate our chakras separately and in addition to our DNA. And what I also felt at this time is that some people were not ready or called to activate their full DNA. Even now in 2025, but definitely in 2013, like DNA activation was very much like a fringe healing modality. It was not mainstream. It was not something that people were called to do or really had any awareness of. And so what I felt called to do was to create a mini training where you would just learn how to activate your chakras. And so even though we don't have the Chakra Healing Intensive program anymore, I basically have taken the program and broken it up into 2 courses, Chakra Activation 101 and Chakra Activation 102. And all of this original training, plus all of the insight and experience that I've had since then, is available in Chakra Activation 101 and 102. It is like a culmination of all of this work that I have done. And if you have not yet registered for chakra activation, or if you're watching this publicly and you're interested in exploring it, you can explore the course overview by going to our website, clicking on courses, and then when you click on courses, you come to this page right here, and it lists all of our current courses. Right at the top, you'll find Chakra Activation 101, and then you can explore it here. And if you scroll down on this page, you can listen to a sample healing experience from the course, and you'll also find the registration. And you can register for the entire course at once. You can also break it up into a payment plan, and you can break that tuition payment up over several months. If you don't have financial resources available to commit to this practice right now, but you're really called to do it, we also have a full spectrum of financial aid services and a work study program for students that you can explore. If you are already enrolled in this course and you are preparing with me to start this week and move through the spring semester, the next 11 weeks together, then there is a second part to this orientation, and it is the Chakra Activation 101 micro view. And we are going to be live in the next few days. I will post this inside of our course portal, the link to it, so you can get notified when we go live with our micro view. And in the micro view, we're going to talk about specifically our heal map and our read map, the actual weekly practices you're going to move through, and some guidance that will help you to focus on completing the objectives within the course each week. And if you have any questions about this course at all, or any questions as you move through the course, please don't hesitate to reach out for support. Our tech support number, you can put that into your phone and text us anytime that you have a question. You can also email us for support. In addition to that, if you go into our open house in the first section, you can always book an in-person meeting. If you're someone that prefers to meet in person, we have one-on-one virtual meetings every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this can help you I'm here to answer any questions that you have about the healing process, anything that's just not a standard logistical question, but maybe a block that you've run up against or some resistance that you're having. The more that you talk about the process, the more anchored you become in being able to articulate what you're going through with others. Because so much of this process happens when our eyes are closed, like you're activating your chakras, but you're not talking to anyone about it. You're doing it all in your own sacred space with your eyes closed. No one's seeing what's going on. And so communicating about the process is incredibly valuable. And so you're encouraged, if you are someone who feels that you benefit from having those in-person connections, then please schedule one of those meetings this semester to connect in person. And finally, the two reminders I want to leave you with is to maintain your attention on the light and you will succeed. I want you to think of like when you start an exercise practice, you might like get started and you're all, you're like ready to go, you're motivated, you're excited, you're like, let's do this. And then the first week you're like, I don't even know if this is working. The second week you're like, I don't even know if I want to show up to this. The third week you might feel good again, but then you might be like, I might want to skip this day. That mindset that every human that commits to an exercise program progresses through. Like, you're not going to feel motivated every day to do this work. You're just not. It's the human condition. You're going to have days where you question if it's all worth it. You're going to have days where you don't want to do it. And that's normal. So just remember that getting started, that it's about committing to the process for the long term. It's about really giving yourself to these 11 weeks. And if you miss a day, if you are going through those feelings, then just witness what's coming up for you, let it go, and keep moving forward. Keep your focus upon the light. And I promise you that over time, it gets easier. Just like doing those exercises become easier, over time, you start to crave the exercise because it makes you feel so good. The same is true for our chakra activation process. And therefore, don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. Don't let any doubts in your mind about the process stop you. Don't let a busy schedule or a lot of things going on in your external life interfere with this daily healing practice, because you can do this. It's like 30 to 90 minutes at the most every single day. You can put it in the background of your morning routine. You can go for a walk and listen to the healing experiences. So fit it into your life. Make it a priority. And don't let anything else that's going on interfere with what you can do. And what you can do is you can commit to this daily healing practice. And I promise you, I've been doing this for enough time now that I know it's not just me that feels amazing after finishing this. It's every other person that I lead through this process has similar, if not the exact sentiment, which is like you start to want to do it. You start to crave the breathing the light through your chakras. And when you don't do it, you feel a real difference. Like you just don't feel like you're vibrating as high. So trust that this 11 weeks is going to transform you, and focus on that big picture. Focus on getting through a daily healing practice for 11 weeks. And if you skip a day, if you have come up against a block, just forgive yourself and start again tomorrow. Like there's no one that you are competing with in this process. You are really just refining your own healing process every single day, and you will reap the rewards of the commitment that you make. The time is now. We are the change. And when we change our own energy fields collectively, I believe that we are changing the vibrational frequency of the planet. And even though it doesn't look like that right now, it's happening. And it's starting through this type of work. As we're all sitting together with our eyes closed, shifting our vibrational frequency, we're impacting our families, we're impacting our communities, and we are part of this huge wave of change that is happening on Earth right now. Thank you for joining me today, and I encourage you to visit PleiadianInstitute.org to learn more about this course. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you everyone for joining me live. I don't see any questions here, but if you do have questions, please reach out to us on social media. Leave a comment under this video, and I will check back in to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you again for joining me, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.